We have a packed agenda tonight, and we have one proclamation on the agenda, but I'm going to make two, just because I can, I guess. Ms. Clerk, can you call the roll, please?
Ms. Fodor. Present. Mr. Kelly.
Here.
Mr. Coth, absent. Mr. Matt.
Here.
Ms. Palestrini. Here. And Mr. Robinson.
Present.
And we have a whole bunch of guest leaders for the pledge, so come on up, kids. So we have Kellen and Kaylee Robinson, we have Jack and Ellie Jarnabro, and we have Mike here. So they're going to lead us in the pledge. So stand if you're able. And then, now that everybody's standing, whenever you guys are ready, start it off, okay? Ready?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty.
All right, you guys are great. Thank you so much. Get pictures, Mr. Photographer guy, also known as Robinson. All right. First, I'd like to recognize Mike Nicholson, who's here for Abate of King County. If you want to step up to the podium. Motorcycle Awareness Month is something that we do every May here, and so we have a proclamation. I'm more than happy to read the whole thing. Okay, fair enough. Do you want to give us the 30,000-foot overview of what we're proclaiming today?
Sure. The basic idea is it's beginning to get spring, and we're out there again. And we're kind of small. The bikes are small. And we're hard to see for the most part because you wonder why we wear what we wear. I'd rather have a cow that's helping me hit the ground than me, but it's hard to see. So we're trying to get people to be aware that we're out there. We're asking them to please stop texting and driving, picking up the phone and talking, those kind of things. Just be aware we're out there. And we're trying to get everybody to just help us spread the word.
So again, it's just motorcycle awareness. Watch when you drive. Try to limit your distractions while driving as much as possible. Some of us have small children in the back seat, so that's not always entirely possible. But don't be texting and driving and that kind of thing. So I really appreciate you coming today. And here's the proclamation. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Really appreciate it. You don't have to stay for the rest of this. So, all right. So first we have a couple of speeches, right? Yes, you're absolutely. Okay.
Miss Bannerman is the best teacher in the world because she's kind to everybody. She plays fun games with us, and if you don't have a snack, she has one for you. As you can see, Miss Bannerman is the best teacher in the world.
They're here.
Miss Bannerman is the best teacher I ever had. Miss Bannerman helps kids learn, read, write, and to be nice. She should be the King County Teacher of the Year. Everyone loves Miss Bannerman.
Best teacher ever. Awesome basketball coach. Nicest at HES. Never gives up. Educates the best second graders. Really makes learning fun. Most likely to have a pet sloth. Always is kind. Navigates to Costa Rica.
Now what does that spell?
Bannerman.
So as many of you know, Michelle Bannerman from Hampshire Elementary School is a very valued member of our community. She was nominated for the 2025 King County Educator of the Year. So we thought it would be worthwhile to proclaim tomorrow, May 2nd. Tomorrow, May 2nd, is Michelle Bannerman Day in the Village of Hampshire. Read as follows, whereas Michelle's been a teacher for the past 20 years and has been a teacher at Hampshire Elementary School for the past 15. And whereas Michelle has been an amazing coach for the past, for Hampshire Township Park District Junior Whippers and has served as the assistant girls varsity basketball coach at Hampshire High School for the past 6 years. And whereas Michelle's coordinated and organized many events that benefit our community and the people in it, such as the community Pack the Place games that collect so many necessary food items to help our most needy residents. And whereas she has created the Basketball Buddies program for her second grade students, in which players on our high school varsity team become buddies and mentors for her second grade students. And whereas Michelle's the most amazing teacher that our students could ever have, she shows them so much love and compassion and cares for them as she would her own children. 22-year-old Kelby and 20-year-old Bryce, her son and daughter. Michelle teaches with her whole heart and would do anything in her power to help any student, whether they are in her class or not, to experience joy and success. Therefore, I, Mike Reed, Village President of Hampshire, recognize Michelle Bannerman Day on May 2nd, 2025.
To say thanks because it's actually May 2nd is Hampshire Elementary School Day. And I get to wear the purple every day, and my kids have gone to Hampshire Elementary School. We have Jen Nolan and her husband here. And that's exactly why we're the #1 school, is because she lets us teach kids. And we have parents here of kids in my class that show up. And they show up for our town, they show up for our school, they show up in our Hampshire parent organization. We have Chief Herman here, who shows up all the time. He comes to our school to vote and to read with kids. And our new chief, I can't wait to work with you. And we have the fire in the police department. Officer Paradise is amazing every day. He comes to our classrooms, and that's why Hampshire is special. And you're going to see over and over again the great things that our kids do. And they make the difference. Our teachers make the difference. The parents that come in to work with the kids make the difference. Grandparents, people that come to their basketball games and softball games. It's just a community. And I'm just so honored and proud to be here. So tomorrow is just Hampshire Elementary School.
I'd like to apologize in advance.
We have to give you. This is for you.
Oh, what's that on the
And
side?
of course, we have to.
Thank you. Thank you.
Pictures or?
Would you like to? Sure, yeah, I'd like to go for sure.
Mrs. Nolan, come on up. Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Bannerman, I also want to apologize. You have the only distinction in Hampshire.
How much do you guys?
Do you guys like the big swamp in the classroom? Yeah, I got that for Mrs. Bannerman.
That's the key.
Can I sneak in one?
Yep. Mrs. Nolan.
Yes.
One.
Thank you. This is very exciting. Thanks you guys very much. I really just am honored. Thank you. Thank you.
Now, don't feel that you guys have to stay and watch what's coming. You're more than welcome. Now's your chance to make your exit.
Got it.
Thank you.
For coming.
Yes.
Oh, that's right, that's right, that's right. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you guys very much. I really. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, guys ready? All right. With regrets, I just want to share that Mr. Hedges is not going to be with us this evening. He had to leave early today. So we're going to do the best we can without him. Be on your A game, Counselor. Do we have anyone signed up to speak tonight?
No.
Okay, next on our agenda, we have Fire Protection District Chief Permit. Oh, hold on, we gotta do minutes, I'm sorry. I'm all confused here. Before you have the meeting minutes from April 17, 2025. Please review them at this time. I apologize, I'm a little off my game here. After I pull Counselor eating, yeah. Does anyone have any changes for the minutes? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as presented. Questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Next we have Trevor Herman, or Chief Herman, along with the new chief, Chief Schmidt. So right now we have two chiefs, no waiting.
Good evening. Thanks for having us tonight. I wanted to introduce Dave Schmidt to the board. He will be our new fire chief in 2 weeks. Dave comes to us with a tremendous amount of experience. He was the chief of Elgin. He was a chief in the Carolinas, and he is currently the assistant chief in South Elgin. So he has a tremendous amount of experience, and he will do an absolutely phenomenal job for the Hampshire community. So I wanted to introduce you to Dave.
A couple of brief comments. I appreciate it. It's really coming into this job, knowing what Trevor had done for the community, and there were big shoes to fill, and I'm very excited. I do love the small town feel. Elgin was nice, but I do miss. I started my roots in a very small community, as my dad was in Rolling Meadows, so I missed that, and I very much feel that in just my 4 days being here. So very much look forward to working with you all. Very happy.
That's awesome.
Welcome.
It's gonna take a minute. Thank you guys. 36 years is a long time, and I love this town. What you guys did for the fire district over these last 5 years, specifically helping support that referendum that we got passed, which was so crucial to building Station 2, which has made a huge difference. We replaced our apparatus. We have a long list of things we've accomplished, and that is because of your support. As I told the mayor and village manager Hedges yesterday, the relationship we have built with the village over these last 5 years is better than ever. With the police department and Chief Hand, since he's come in, it's been tremendous. So from the bottom of my heart, thank everyone. So I really appreciate everything.
Thank you.
Can't walk away yet. There's one more thing. So because of your contributions to our village, we wanted to present an award to you tonight for everything that you've done as far as being a great community partner and a great resident. We want to present you with the Lifetime Award here from the Village of Hampshire.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you, everybody.
Photos. Make your own reason.
Guys, come on, all of you. We couldn't have done it without you. We got a photographer coming, let's surround him.
Thanks,
Thank you. Thank you. I got keys for that, so you don't drop it in the parking lot. Ask me how I know.
And
Thank you. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
you want your chair?
Okay. Next, I'm going to handle the village manager's report best I can here. So tonight we have a presentation by Lauterbach and Amen and after the presentation, I will entertain a motion to approve the fiscal year 2023 annual audit. So I believe we have Lauterbach and Amen on the screen here.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
We can hear you. In front of you is the annual report. It's in the binder, and then there's the management letter as well. The floor is yours, ma'am.
Thank you. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Jocelyn Kaur. I am one of the audit managers at Lauterbach and Amen. I will be presenting required communication that we've published related to the audit for fiscal year ended April 30th, 2023. I want to start off by thanking of the board for allowing me to present tonight. I would also like to thank the staff. We understand everybody has their own job responsibilities, and going through the audit and having auditors on site is not the pleasant experience. So we appreciate all the effort that went into getting this audit done. Excuse me. The first piece I would like to go over is the SAS 114 letter, the primary purpose of which is to convey whether or not we had any difficulties or disagreements with management during the course of the audit. And I am happy to report that no such disagreements or difficulties were encountered, and that is exactly what can be found in the body of the letter. Excuse me. Pardon me if I get a cough attack. I have been sick, so bear with me, please. The next piece I would like to go over which is the actual thick bound report, which is the AFR. Couple of pages I would like to point out is pages 3 to 5 talk about the independent auditor's report, which describes the management responsibility, which is the preparation and fair presentation of the financial statements. Our responsibility as an audit firm is to generate an opinion on those financial statements, and I am happy to report that we've issued an unmodified opinion, which is the cleanest form of opinion we can issue. Next couple of pages, 7 through 17, talks about management's discussion and analysis. It's a great narrative summary of the fiscal year's financial highlights. We understand the financial statements themselves can be quite difficult to comprehend, so this section breaks things down into words, charts, and graphs. I highly encourage the board to read this section at their leisure, and please feel free to reach out anytime, even if not tonight, if you have any questions. Next couple of pages, 28 and 29, talks about the fund level income statement for governmental funds. Overall, everything looked great. Capital improvements did have an operating deficit of about $80,000, but it did come out with an ending fund balance of about positive $33,000. If you have any particular questions about any of these numbers, please let me know. Next are the notes to the financial statements, where you'll see anything from deposits and investments, property taxes, capital assets, inter funds, long-term debt, fund balance classifications, contingent liabilities that the village has, and the IMRF pension plan. Lastly, in the required supplementary information, you will see other schedules such as budget to actuals, as well as other schedules. The most important thing I would say is the management letter, the purpose of which is to convey whether internal control recommendations that we might have, best practices that we see in the industry, or upcoming GASB pronouncements. Excuse me. Couple of current ones that we would encourage the board and the staff to work together is um, coming up with an outstanding check write-off policy. If you need templates, please let us know and we will be happy to provide you with templates to implement that one. Police pension funding overall, you were not, the village is not meeting the actually determined contribution. Funds over budget, there was quite a couple, so just keep that in mind going forward. There were some prior ones that still need to be looked into, which is funds with deficit fund balance. TIF and Road and Bridge are the two funds. Excuse me. Personnel manual and escrow deposits and deposits held for refund. We have changed the way our management letter looks. We do have upcoming standards as its own section. There are a few that we will work with the village to implement whatever's applicable. 94, GASB 94 talks about private public partnerships. GASB 96 talks about software related subscriptions that the village might have. GASB 100, excuse me, talks about any account, like changing in accounting errors or estimates that might result in a prior period adjustment. And GASB 101 talks about changing how we calculate the compensated absences liability. I kept it very brief and short. Any particular pages, like pages with questions or anything in general, please let me know.
Thank you very much. Ms. Lyons, do you have anything to add?
No, it's been a pleasure working with Lauterbach and Amen over the years. And one thing of note is the village did expend enough federal funds during fiscal year 23 that we were subject to single audit. And so there will be another report coming in approximately, I'd say, probably 2 to 3 weeks with respect to that.
Any questions from the board?
Two, on what you were just saying, what's the difference of a single audit versus what we just did?
So a single audit speaks to the amount of the level of federal funding that we expended. And so we expended 100% of the DCEO revolving loan fund for the streetscape project during fiscal year 23, as well as some ARPA funds. And so therefore, the level was such that there was single audit. They do testing on those programs. And Jesleen, if you want to speak to that, there's some additional testing that needs to be done to assure that you are fulfilling the requirements of the.
So it's a second audit.
So it's basically, sorry, I can jump in if you need, Lori. It's basically like internal control and compliance testing just for those expenditures that were over the threshold of the $750,000 that is required by the GATA.
Okay, thank you. The second question, just a rough estimate, in the current recommendations, about how much do we have in outstanding checks?
I can look that up for you. The dollar amount is not significant. It's more the age of the items.
Okay, so it's not like we have thousands and thousands. sitting
No.
there. Okay.
No.
All right.
And we, as I mentioned in the management response to the management letter comment, we identified that this was a problem in advance of actually getting the comment. And so we've already taken some steps to get that corrected.
Okay.
Jumping in on just that question, do we have any checks that rise to the level of having to send them to the treasurer's office?
So the level is 0. I mean, like if you're,
Okay.
yes. So yes, we do have some that will likely be going to the treasurer's office.
Are we just
So
small amounts,
honestly,
$100, $25,000?
It's interesting. So a lot of them are like employee reimbursements at the police department when we were giving cell phone reimbursements. There are some uncashed checks. So, we're going to try to get those to the people. If they sign a statement that says that they don't have the check, they never cash the check, we'll reissue that and clear it rather than send it to the Secretary of State.
Okay.
But yeah, we're going through those at the present time.
Any other questions from Ms. Lyons or the auditors? I'll entertain a motion to approve the fiscal year 23 annual audit.
Motion. Second.
Questions, comments? Ms. Clerk, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Kelly,
All right.
Mr. Matt,
Aye.
Ms. Palestrini,
Aye.
Mr. Robinson,
Aye.
and Ms. Fodor. Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, next we have a facade improvement grant for multiple businesses. Mr. Swalwell has been before us before talking a little bit about this project. Mr. Kelly, do you want to lead the discussion on this, or can we just hand it over to Mr. Swalwell?
I'll start, but Mr. Schwab will have a lot more information. So if you wouldn't mind presenting, I do want to just, when I say start, just call out the effort that Mr. Swalwell has had towards this. The unique thing about this facade application, and it's not a high dollar value, is that it combines 4 different building/business owners all working together for one application. We've only ever had one-to-one applications, a business owner or building owner in one application. So the work that Mr. Swalwell has done on this and bringing back some of the classic history of Hampshire's downtown, and that our local business owners and building owners are working together on this is a pretty cool thing to see in this application that we haven't seen before. So with that, Mr. Swalwell, if you want to talk about the project.
Absolutely. Good evening. I brought in this week, I always say it's like what's the phrase, a picture says 1,000 words. This is what the project entails. These were decorative building elements that were on the front facade after the reconstruction of the downtown fire in 1929. Everything was lost from what now is the yoga and the Park District building. From there all the way to the gas station, everything was lost. And they rebuilt with decorative architectural masonry elements. And the buildings, for the most part, have been restored, thanks to, in large part, Copper Barrel and the various businesses that have taken over Hampshire Social most recently. And this actually comes off the parapet wall, the last one remaining. There were 7 total. They are 95 years old. Well, the one that's left. The remaining 6, due to inherent failure due to the weather or induced failure due to vandalism, have all ceased to exist except for this one. So not only did it involve having this replicated, it also involved 4 different building owners, which was, we'll just say, I'm glad to hear we had them come together.
Yes.
So this is what's before you, the fabrication of 7 of these, fabrication and installation of 7 of these. And the cost is not large, but the project was somewhat involved.
Yeah, I think you worked on this for close to a year.
Year and a half.
Year and a half,
years.
2 years.
Yeah.
And if anybody's wondering what he's pointing at in front of the podium, it's called a finial, and it looks kind of like a large clay, but it's concrete pot. And so that would go on top of the roof line.
There were 7 of these along the front, and to see them back on the building is going to be neat. It's reminiscent of something you'd see in St. Charles or Geneva. There is some masonry and architectural work down there that has these on it. And this is the only building, these 6 units, 4 businesses, are the only downtown buildings that have anything of this. And to this project and its restorative nature has just been really rewarding. So with your consideration this evening, I'm looking really forward to this. This is a neat project.
Yeah, and these are secured with rebar into the building. It's not like it's just placed up there. These aren't going to fall off the building.
No, you're right. Through the replication of the masonry, they're going to embed a 1/2-inch rebar rod that goes up and extends into the unit, which the old ones did not have. And they will extend 12 inches down into the existing masonry, and they will be epoxied in place. So to get them off would be extremely difficult.
Yeah.
So they'll withstand hopefully more than 95 years this time.
There's pictures in the hallway here of what downtown looks like in the 40s, I believe. It was during one of the parades they had, and you can clearly see the finials in place. And so if you guys want a sneak peek of what it is going to look like, look at our past, because it'll be pretty cool.
So this was brought to the BDC for consideration. With everyone's signatures, the total project amount is $5,710. The BDC unanimously voted to fund this at 75%, which makes it $4,282. And that includes everything, correct? Fabrication, if I'm remembering correctly, Mr. Small, fabrication and install.
And delivery.
7
of them at 90 pounds.
Yeah.
That was $500 alone. So that's accurate. Yes, sir.
Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Swalwell or Mr. Kelly? I'll entertain a motion to approve the for the.
I got a brief question. I'm sure you've already taken.
I apologize. We don't take questions from the audience.
Oh, okay.
Does anyone have any questions? I'll entertain a motion to approve the facade improvement grant for multiple businesses on State Street in the amount of 4282.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments? Ms. Clerk, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Matt,
Aye.
Ms. Palastrellini,
Aye.
Mr. Robinson,
Aye.
Ms. Fodor. Aye. Mr. Kelly.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
So we'd love to address your question after the meeting. And
Please understand, no problem.
we're happy to do so. I don't mean to be rude to you. All right, next we have a resolution declaring intent to reimburse expenditures from process of bonds. Mr. Baselli,
I'm sorry, the word should be proceeds.
Proceeds.
proceeds, okay, I can read.
No.
I can read.
No. It's also the bonding process, Mr. President, so you are correct.
Ms. Lyons or Mr. Baselli, who's up?
Why don't it is National Law Day, but why don't we turn this over to Ms. Lyons? And she can explain what we're doing here tonight.
So
He's working pro bono tonight in honor of the holiday.
village, our staff is asking you to approve this resolution, which will allow us to pay ourselves back for expenses incurred between the ultimate financing of the bonds and the construction that takes place before the bonds are issued. So as you know, we will be having some interim financing, and in order for the proceeds of the bonds to be used to pay that back when the village is paying the bills, this resolution is required. This is very common to pass in a bonding situation.
That's an excellent summation from Ms. Lyons. I will add one thing. Nothing in this resolution requires us to go forward with the bonds. It becomes financially untenable to do the bonds. We could stop the process at any point in time, and it's not like they can go back and say, oh, you have to do these bonds because of this. It's wholly discretionary. I'm sure Ms. Lyons has seen a bunch of these, and I've done dozens of them, 100, just because this is standard in the bond process.
Anyone have any questions for Ms. Lyons or Mr. Baselli?
Just one, why is the dollar amount so much higher than what the?
So that was actually the recommendation of Mr. Vaselli, was to kind of round up, if you will. So this is greater than the actual guaranteed minimum price of the building, but it's a rounded number. And so our intent is to finance the building, and then I'll call them some of the closing costs, which would include like our financial advisor, bond counsel, our village attorney, and those types of things.
Section 1.150-2 of the Illinois or the Internal Revenue Code says we can't go up. We can cap it, but we can't go up once that amount is up.
Well, we're not saying we want to create a bond for that dollar, right?
That's correct.
Nothing in this document requires us to go forward with the bonds or adheres us to anything with regards to those bonds.
Any other questions?
Yes, page 24. For section 4, it says the eligible project costs to be reimbursed with the bond proceeds will be paid initially from the funds of the village and lawfully available, or from the proceeds of financing obtained by the village other than bond proceeds. Does that incorporate the grants that we are still
So
possibly going to get?
So we're unsure whether or not we will be receiving those grants. But I mean, obviously, if we have cash from grants, we would use that.
So
It does, that's correct.
That's what that one is?
Yeah, so it allows, it calls for the advancement of the funds through grants or other bonds or TIF increment in some certain cases or anything like that. So the answer to your question is yes. But obviously, again, that does not require us to get those grants to go forward with that.
And that includes things like a bridge loan or something like
A
that.
bridge loan,
That's what that financing piece was in
Okay.
the
all right.
excerpt that she read.
And oftentimes it is that people take out a loan, they do the inducement and they come back and bonds. That is not the case right now tonight. Tonight is just, we want to start the clock going on what we can pay for those proceeds from, let's say, May 1st, from May Day 2025, before we even start issuing the parameters ordinance.
Any other questions?
For the way that this is written, it says, I mean, it's indicates that the village clerk is going to present and read in full the resolution. And it says that in multiple places. And if we're not gonna do that, because I didn't expect that we were, that really should be removed, because it makes it sound like the village clerk stood up and read in full the resolution. That's on page 21, the last sentence. And then the same thing then goes for the last page, page 26, which is, I mean, I understand it's kind of like a template. But it says again, resolution is presented and read by the village clerk be adopted. And it actually lists how many nays we already had. So it's filled in already.
Can I address a couple of those points, Madam Trustee? So, page 21 of our packet, so page 21 of 94, if you read that, that is actually an excerpt of the minutes. So if we want to alleviate that concern, we could just in the motion acknowledge the existence and the reading of this resolution, if you want to clear that up, which is an absolutely fine thing to do. But it's not the per se term of the resolution, it's the minutes.
Okay.
The none, I will tell you, maybe that was just some wishful thinking on everybody's part, but we can of course change that. Again, these are just page 26 is the recordation for the certification of this when we go forward. And it's honestly more important for the bond transcript after we go forward with the bonds. We need to have these minutes and certifications at that point in time to a process which I'm sure you're familiar with and gone through before. So if someone votes no, you have my word. Before the clerk signs it, I will personally strike it out and make sure that that no is on there. I don't think Mr. Koth will, but we will make sure that he is absent on tonight's.
And then, I mean,
He might though. I know Toby. He might.
so are these just templates of what the minutes are, there will not be exactly what gets. Okay, because it also says it's signed the same in open meeting and directed to the village clerk, and the mayor's never signed anything during the meeting.
That's correct. And
So,
right, but he could if he'd like to. He could if he'd like to. That is just, and as you know, it's to ensure that the procedures are made in compliance with the Open Meetings Act. And if he'd like to sign it, he could, and we could just alleviate any or relieve us from any concerns with regards to that specifically.
and we can just pull that out from the,
We could pull it out, but actually our prior bond council did draft this. And so I would,
that the clerk's gonna read.
no, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna acknowledge in the
Okay.
motion, we're going to acknowledge the fact that it was acknowledged and acknowledge in the record to satisfy that reading requirement.
Okay,
If
So,
that motion will.
Can you help us with the motion then? What
Sure.
motion should be presented so that all things are satisfied?
Sorry, can
Yeah.
we just strike that sentence then? Because even if we acknowledge the reading of it, we're acknowledging it was read. So I think the option is either our clerk Stuhler read 4 pages that I'm sure she's not excited to read. Or can we just strike
I don't
that?
need to speak for Clerk Stewart. Maybe she really wants to read. I mean, maybe that's a thing.
Sorry,
Do what I have to do.
I am
No, we'll-
seriously asking
we'll
this
strike
question
it.
Because
That's
if the
fine.
point of these
Yeah.
minutes is that they're included in open session as part of the Open Meetings Act of what happened, we shouldn't put in minutes something that
That
doesn't.
is not what the Open Meetings Act says under section 2.06.
I'm sorry, that's what I thought you were saying,
No.
why we had to pass this.
No, I'm saying is prior bond counsel said that this is the form that they wanted. I'm fine striking it if that alleviates all this.
All right.
So why don't we, with the understanding that we're going to change the minutes, we do not need a motion to change minutes. So with the understanding we're going to change the minutes, we're going to change the certification. If there is a no vote, my motion would be, or my requested motion would be a motion to approve resolution 25, number 25 dash,
Whatever it is.
Entitled Resolution Declaring the Intent of the Village of Hampshire, Kane and McHenry Counties, Illinois to reimburse certain expenditures for governmental purposes from the proceeds of its general obligation bonds alternative revenue source. I mean, it's just that simple. And the understanding is that we will change the minutes and we'll change the certification depending on the process.
Does anybody want to make the motion that he just recited?
So moved.
Second. Questions, comments? Ms. Clerk, can you call the roll, please?
Ms. Palestrini?
Aye.
Mr. Robinson?
Aye.
Ms. Fodor? Aye. Mr. Kelly?
All right.
And Mr. Matt? Aye. Motion passes 5-0.
Do you want to thank them for not making you read 4 pages? Next, we have a resolution approving a professional services agreements with EEI for the Public Works Facility in the amount of $14,890. There is an agenda supplement explaining what this is all about. Page 28 of your packets. Ms. Lyons or Mr. Vaselli, do you have anything that you would like to add to this? I believe this is just for the plan review and observation services, just to ensure that that LAMP and all of their subcontractors are complying with our ordinances. Tim Paulson is on the line too, I suppose. He can answer any question we have.
Yes, you're exactly right. That is what it's for, to define the scope of what we would do for review and construction observation.
No, sorry. Isn't that what our inspectors are for, is to sign off that the project is on the code and follows the ordinances and meets
That's
all
what-
their requirements?
Sure.
We pay safe bill for it?
Sure, but we also engage EEI through those processes as well, depending on what part of the construction is done. So as an example, if somebody's working on a water main or something like that, even though Safe Belt does review the plans and that kind of stuff, EEI is still involved. That's their part of it as well.
So when we fix our own water main, they're there?
No, well, in most cases, they are on site if we have a big enough water main break, right?
If it's a replacement of water,
Yeah.
that would be the case, yes.
Not a water main break, but like if somebody, like as a resident were to come and tap on or something of that nature, that it still has to.
That has to be observed by a licensed plumber, so that is a safe fill.
Yeah. So.
So in this
This
case,
is- Go ahead, Tim.
we're reviewing the civil engineering plans, and we're reviewing specifically the stormwater permit and grading permit application. And then in the field, we would be observing the village utilities outside of the building, the water main, the sanitary sewer, and the storm sewer. And then reviewing also the record drawings and doing a site outside the building punch list at the end of the project. So these are outside of the building items.
Any other questions for Tim or Ms. Lyons?
Just one quick one this is an engineering contract for the entire project to finish it from beginning to end on this $15 million building, and it's for less than $15,000. There's not going to be another one that comes or something that gets added that would raise that or create a need for another contract?
Not on our end, because in this case, this is similar to the services we provide when you have a development project, like, a subdivision or the Old Dominion project, where we're reviewing, your architect, project management team has a civil engineer who's doing the design. We're just reviewing it. So there's a scope, in the PSA that, details the limited items that we would be involved in. So that's why it's not construction management of the project. It's these specific items that we look at.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion approving a resolution with the EI professional services agreement in the amount of $14,890 for a public works facility. So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments? Ms. Clerk, can you call roll, please?
Mr. Robinson?
Aye.
Ms. Fodor? Aye. Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Mr. Matt?
Aye.
Mrs. Palastrellini?
Hi.
Motion passes 5-0.
Moving right along here, we have a grocery tax at the current time that last year in the budget address, Governor Pritzker decided to pull. We talked about that at length at this board about the fact that it was a good political move for the governor to say that he can lower taxes by making grocery bills 1% less and pulling a tax that never touches his budget, but it affects ours. So every grocery store, gas station, those type of retailers pay a 1% tax directly to the municipality in which those organizations, stores reside. and it comes directly through to the village to pay for things like public safety, pay for things for like, public works buildings, plow operations and that kind of thing. And as of January, this coming year, it will no longer be in effect. So the governor has graciously allowed us to be the bad guys and reinstitute this if we want, but to our budget and other municipalities, it provides a hole that needs to be filled. This is a tax that went right into our general fund, and we've used over the years for different projects. And now it's up to us to reinstate it if the village chooses to do so. There's a staff document here, agenda supplement with several other communities that are listed. Some of the communities that we are closer to are not on the list. I can tell you this is something that Metro West has really been pushing. As a matter of fact, I know like the village of Pingree Grove already passed it. The village of Burlington already passed it. Sugar Grove already passed it. And so we're kind of doing this in solidarity with the rest of the towns around us as well, because it wasn't a very nice thing for the governor to do, but I understand why he did it. Anyway. That's my speech. Ms. Lyons, did I cover it? Does the board have any questions?
I know there was a email that went out. There is no ballpark figure that we can get an idea of how much money we would be missing out on if we did not pass this?
So the sales tax information is shared between 3 individuals within the village, and that's just the way the state law is written, and it has to do, and it's the finance director, village manager, and the mayor. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And we're sworn to like secrecy, as stupid as that sounds, but we're sworn to secrecy to be able to share like individual properties or individual revenue amounts and stuff like that through the Department of Revenue. That's the way the law is written. I don't know why it is. But I will tell you that there's 2 schools of thought with this, right? So for us, it doesn't represent a huge portion of the budget. Okay, I will give you that. However, because we only have, we have blocks, and then we have Casey's, and then we have the truck stop area, right? Some of the lobs and the speedway and that kind of stuff.
The gas station.
So, and the Creekside and stuff. So what I'm saying is it's not a huge percentage of our budget compared to other communities, right? Some of these communities are north of like hundreds of thousands or even in the millions of dollars. If you think about how Algonquin is, or you think about Carpentersville and the big box stores and stuff like that. So for us, it doesn't represent a huge portion of our general fund. There's 2 schools of thought with this too. As you talk about economic development and attraction of new businesses and retention of businesses, we always talk about what do we do as a board? What do we have as far as a tool to offer, economic development? So I'll use Pingree Grove as a perfect example. They passed this, right? Now they knew they were getting a Jewel, okay? But Jewel didn't know that this was going on, I'm guessing, or they had some idea, right? So let's say we don't do this, and then somebody comes and knocks on our door, a big box store. Let's just play hypothetical. I don't like playing hypothetical. But let's say somebody comes and knocks on our door and says, hey, it's between you and Genoa, and we want to know what you can give us. Well, if we don't have that tool, that tax to rebate, right? Or for that same manner, it's like future boards go, oh crap, maybe we should pass that 1% tax, right? As we're negotiating with a grocery store. You know what I mean? Like it either could torch negotiations if you try to pass it, after the fact, and then you're the only town on the planet doing it at that time, or you do it now with all the rest of the towns because they're taking it away. And then the other side of it is you can use it as an economic development tool later because you could rebate that much like we do with sales tax rebates and water and sewer rebates and stuff like that. So it's just 2 different ways of thinking about it. But in answer to that's a long form answer to, I can't tell you, but it's not huge at this time. But as you look into the future, it could be huge. And we're always looking for that revenue stream as it comes to different projects. So it's up to the flavor of the board.
Well, I was the one that asked the question to Ms. Lyons, and I thank you very much for your response. As I was reading this over and deciding, this is a wash. There's a 1% tax that's in now. The governor, who doesn't get any of that money, has pulled it back. Mm-hmm. And if we put this back in, it doesn't affect affect anybody. We just don't save 1% on our groceries. As you said, we don't have a lot of groceries here to be able to get. But just for the public's awareness is my thought was, I'd like to know what the amount of the loss is. If we don't do this, how much did we take in for that 1% in 2022, 23, and 24? So I could get an idea of how much we would lose. And the response came back then is that it's a secret.
Well, no, and that's, again, it has to do with the way that the
Yeah.
law is written. So it's not us keeping a secret.
Not at all. I understand it. It is the law and they're following the law. But, you know, as a taxpayer, you kind of have to wonder, wow, that is really wrong. But
Seems like
it
the
is-
perfect tax to remove that we can't talk about, right?
It is, and there are other taxes like this, the same thing that we don't get amounts for. So I still, I'm going to support this because I think it's important, because losing a loss of any money for the village is a bad thing. This money is already, this tax is already there. It's just going to be a matter of switching who is in charge of it. And it's 1% and it's for the community here. So, but I did have to at least make it clear that we're not able to know
Well,
how much we make.
it has been projected. It has been projected. There's been several figures that have been spoken about. Okay. And I know right now at this current standpoint, it's somewhere between, I would say 50 and 100 is what I would be able to guess, but I can't say that publicly. So, you know.
But you're at a public meeting.
Well,
What I'm saying is I didn't commit.
Okay.
I didn't
But
commit.
I'm going to challenge that though, because during our 1% sales tax discussion, you were able to look at the aggregate sales tax and calculate what that revenue would be. And we made a decision on that. No one, I think, is asking what an individual business, which is you're not allowed to talk about, an individual business is paying in taxes. We're asking what the aggregate impact is,
So
the total.
did you see my response to?
I did read through it, but
Okay.
that's where I'm saying.
Sales tax comes as a lump to the village. It includes grocery tax, tax on pharmaceuticals, regular sales tax, tax on automobiles. All of those are at different rates. It just comes in as a lump. So we get monthly disbursements from the state for sales tax. I don't know what that grocery tax number is.
So how did we calculate a 1% increase on the sales tax then? If our sales tax number includes all these other various taxes?
So I was able to, knowing what I know, pull out the automobile tax. And then I estimated, I guess, maybe what the sales tax piece was. My number was not quite as high as Mr. Reed's, but yeah, we cannot accurately do this in our circumstances. So.
And like I said, it's not us not wanting to give you exact figures. It's one, that they make it extremely difficult for us to give you the exact figure. And two, we're not supposed to share exact numbers.
I mean, so, and, we only have one true grocery store in Hampshire. So if I were to tell you, I mean, it would be highly geared towards their line item on my big sales tax report, right? And I think the Illinois Department of Revenue prohibits us from sharing that information, because then, an individual could go back and find out what their sales are and, be critical of their sales or happy with their sales. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not comfortable sharing information that could very clearly in the agreement that I signed, that I could be subject to a Class B misdemeanor, whatever that means. Or a $7,500 fine. So,
6 months.
Going to jail, he tells me. So,
I don't
okay.
think anybody on the board is asking you to break
Yeah.
that agreement, or any of the other two individuals that have that.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what anybody is asking.
No.
I'm just bringing up the fact, I'm being asked to make a vote and a decision on a topic that, while I understand it's a wash, right? For the community that shops at the locations where a grocery tax would be, they're not going to see any difference because it's just transferring who charges it. But the difference could be they don't have to pay that anymore. So while we say it's level, it also could mean actually it can be a little cheaper than what it is. And if the difference to the village isn't substantial, right?
Now,
Understood, but
this is very similar to a conversation.
we're gonna have a 150th anniversary and we have one grocery store. So as of right now, that's where we're at. Jewel just chose another community.
Well,
So
when
I get the
people
understanding.
made decisions in other boards in the nineties
And
that
this-
really hurt them in the future.
And this isn't time bound, correct?
Correct, but then
Okay,
Um,
so my point is that we're not being, and because we can't, I get that, I'm not asking for it. But we're being asked to make a decision on something that may have a minimal impact to the village, or it may have a huge impact to the village. But I don't know the answer to that.
well, I think this is where trusting in staff is important because, again, this was recommended by staff, knowing impacts to our general fund. We can't share exact numbers, but staff thought it was important enough that we put it on the agenda to discuss it because it is going to have an impact to our operations. And that's all I'll say. Because I can't get into it anymore. Your vote is your vote. This is important to the operations. It wouldn't have been presented if it wasn't. I don't know what else to say. Does
Can I
it?
make one more comment?
Absolutely.
So I just want to say that all dollars are critical to the village of Hampshire right now. We did a couple things. In our budget this year, we have relied on the fact that we were going to do a special census, which would increase our state share revenues. We know that that is on hold right now. So those dollars are not
Never see again.
at all guaranteed at this point. The US Census Bureau did offer to return our money. However, we don't want our money back. We really want to be counted and get those dollars. So, that's just something to keep in mind that, we're gonna have to plug that hole. We don't want to plug, other things. Potentially.
Does anyone else have any questions? I'll entertain a motion approving the 1% grocery tax to replace the state sales tax.
I'll make the motion. Take it in.
Questions or comments? Ms. Clerk, can you call the roll, please?
Mrs. Fodor,
Reflection in the minutes. That's her vote is nay.
yes. Mr. Kelly,
Same.
Mr. Matt,
Aye.
Mrs. Palastrellini,
Aye.
Mr. Robinson.
No.
Motion would pass.
Motion carries.
Carries.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, we have Mr. Khan, right? You're gonna help me through this next one? All right. What do you got, sir?
So items F and G are bracketed together. They're kind of one and the same. So in our code, we have some fees that are established by the board from time to time, and then we have fees that are actually listed in the code. What I've been trying to do is switch over to the fees will be established from time to time by the village board and present the fee schedule like I do the building permit fee schedule. So this one's the zoning and annexation subdivision site plan review. So any development related costs, those fees and deposits that we collect for cover engineering and legal reviews. Ms. Lyons and I agree that what our deposit amounts are not enough to cover what the true cost of our engineering and legal reviews are. So we're increasing those. So we're, instead of having to go back to developers saying we need more money, we're just being upfront about the real cost of it. So I don't expect to bring this back every year, we'll change it, but it will be adopted annually by the board. If the subdivision ordinance is amended tonight, and then the motion to approve the fee schedule is approved as well. So I don't expect to change it, but it will come back annually for your review for adoption. And if you have any questions, I can answer them.
Do I have any questions for Mr. Khan?
Yes. Basically, it looks like everything is doubling according to the schedule.
Yeah, so the deposit amounts for engineering and legal reviews are doubling. Whatever is remaining out of that deposit is refunded back to the developer. So they only pay for actual costs.
So then will this be raising cost for the end consumer? No? Okay.
You would.
It's just strictly a
no.
deposit.
Mr. Chair, if I may, that's an excellent question. No, it's a strictly deposit. It's a safer, they're gonna spend the money anyway. It is a safer position for the village to get the money as a deposit than the money just not be there when someone is mad about a zoning hearing. I had a municipality, they ran out of the deposit, and we sometimes will get involved. And in this case, it was a contentious zoning hearing, and they didn't like what the engineers and the lawyers were saying, because they were, the engineers and the lawyers, very good lawyers, were fighting for the village's interests in a different village, and they just wouldn't pay anymore. They said, we're not gonna pay. We don't like what you're saying. We get the deposit now, we just draw down on the deposit. I think Mr. Khan's done a tremendous job with this. I strongly endorse this because it protects the village's interest and money that would be spent, and it protects the developers because it goes right back. If there's an overage, if it goes real fast and there's not a lot of fees, the money goes back rather than us go have to chase it. I am always wanting the idea of returning money rather than chasing money, but that's just my way of thinking about it. But I strongly endorse this, and I know Mr. Khan spent a ton of time working this out.
I believe also that these fees were established in 1985 with the original code and have never been updated. So if you think about professional fees and the cost of them in 1985 compared to today's rates, these updates are necessary.
I was going to ask that question because they've always been about $5,000 developer deposit as long as I've been around.
We did have varying amounts based on
Well,
acreage and those types of things.
what I'm saying
Yes.
is that that's always the phrase.
That was
that
the
we-
standard amount. Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Since the Bears won the Super Bowl, Mr. President.
Yeah, exactly.
To put that in
He
context.
wasn't alive.
Right.
I was not.
Wow.
So, run.
Well, hard knife and.
Any other questions, Counselor?
No, thank you.
All
I have no.
right. Any other questions from the board?
Just, Mr. Khan, first of all, thank you very much for all the time and effort you put into this, especially knowing that since 1985, these have been the numbers. One quick question is that when we do have a developer and annexation or any of that stuff, do we find that we're having to bill them later because we've exceeded the amount of money?
Yes,
Okay.
on many accounts, we've had to do that.
Okay. All right, that's a good question. And then my second one, and that's it, is just then, so we're accepting this money and are we holding escrow accounts kind of like that we're holding on and then just kind of billing them? That's how it works then?
Yes, we hold these funds in a separate checking account, so it's not mixed with the village money, if you will.
Okay.
And then, yes, we retain an account by developer.
Can I say something, Mr. Chair? It's just like an IOLTA account.
That's what I thought.
Yep, it's just like an IOLTA account.
Okay.
Everybody's got one of those.
Yep, sure.
So
Yeah.
knowing that.
National Law Day, right?
People go.
That's why we're gonna go so fast to the board meeting. 'Cause
I didn't get you a contract. Knowing that this was the fees from 1985, we all know that the cost of living has more than doubled since 1985. Is this going to cover 2025 costs?
Yeah, so I've looked over our developer statements or developer account statements, and based on legal charges, the engineering review charges, I think this will be sufficient.
Okay.
To cover, I mean, obviously there are gonna be cases where,
Correct. But it'll come, we're not gonna have to redo this again next year or 2 years down the road.
no, but I, just like the building permit fee schedule, I will bring it back annually for your adoption, but I don't believe the amounts will change next
Okay.
year.
Thank you.
Yep.
I'd just like to make a comment really quickly. $5,000 in 1985, the purchasing power today is $14,860.55 of $2025. So I think at 10,000, that's a bargain. That's
One last quick question then is if we've got existing subdivisions, annexations, et cetera, that doesn't get touched at all. This is for all new ones coming before the village.
Correct.
So I'm not sure.
Okay, so we will have to take two separate roles on this. So I'm going to entertain a motion amending section 713H4, I say that 3 times fast, of the Village of Hampshire subdivision ordinance regarding subdivision review deposit fees.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments? We will need to take a voice vote. So, can you take a
Got
roll,
it.
please? Thank you.
Mr. Kelly,
Aye.
Do it in one.
Mr. Mott,
Aye.
Mrs. Palastrellini,
Hi.
Mr. Robinson,
Aye.
and Mrs. Fodor.
aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, next we need to, I will entertain a motion to approve the 2025 zoning annexation subdivision site plan review and deposit fee schedule.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments? You call the roll, please.
Mr. Matt,
Aye.
Mrs. Palastrellini,
Aye.
Mr. Robinson,
Aye.
Mrs. Fodor,
Aye.
and Mr. Kelly.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Next, we get to talk about the ultraviolet UV replacement project. Change order number 1, everyone, in the amount of $25,686, $600.86.
And it's important to say that this is a decrease in the contract amount.
I like it. I like it. A less expensive UV light. Does anyone have any questions?
The numbers in here are all different. So on one page, it'll say in the amount of $596,230, and then somewhere else, it gives a different amount.
Yep.
$596,320, as well as $596,293.
Mhm.
So what's the actual number?
It's covered right in the agenda supplement here, where it says that the ultraviolet system to Ballard Construction, we awarded the contract at $596 and change. Analysis that the EEI had reduced the overall contract from $596 to $570, which is the reduction of $25,086.
No, I get all that, but the numbers are different. So,
Where are the numbers?
so if you look on page 59,
59.
it says, change of contract price, it's $596,293. In the memo,
The original contract price.
there are two different numbers as well. There's $596,320
I'm sure that they were.
and $596,230. And then the new contract price says.
So I think in the agenda supplement, I think that they swapped some numbers around.
Yeah, that was a typo.
Sorry, we'll take it out of your pay. So which is the real number? Is it the 230 or
The
the?
original contract price was $596,293.
Yep.
So that's correct then. So then the memo is wrong on that
Correct.
one. So that number's correct. And then the bottom is, it says 576.92.14 and the memo says 579.62.
What's on page 59 is correct. I think it's 59.
Page 59.
Okay.
So that being said, we need to change order number 1, right? Which is is the decrease correct then? Yes. So it'd be 25,000. So the decrease is correct. There were just some.
That's correct. There are internal typographical errors in the agenda supplement, but the change order and the agenda item, the resolution.
So
Excuse me.
the National Law Day, is it okay to ask this question about, do we just take it out of his pay or do we tar and feather?
I
prefer it out of my pay.
Right.
Sound record. I will entertain a motion.
Because I'm going to go back to then in the actual resolution. So page 66.
Yes.
It lists in that first paragraph, which will change the contract price in the amount of $25,600.86. And the memo says $25,086.
We will make sure all numbers are correct before I sign the paperwork.
Yeah, I think the memo is wrong. I think everything else is right.
Yes.
So,
We will make sure that all of the numbers are 100% accurate.
$25,600. Okay, so it matches in the change of contract price in there.
okay, on page 59 and 94?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, it's the supplements that's wrong. And we'll make sure we check the math next time.
It's a good thing Jay's not watching. He is.
It is.
It is. I will entertain a motion approving resolution for change order number 1 at the ultraviolet, the wastewater treatment plant for the ultraviolet project with the correct amounts. That will be double checked and triple checked before my signature is applied to the paperwork.
Motion.
I have a first. I have a second. Questions and or comments? Ms. Clerk, can you call the roll, please?
Mrs. Palastrellini,
Aye.
Mr. Robinson,
Aye.
Mrs. Fodor,
Aye.
Mr. Kelly,
Aye.
and Mr. Matt.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
This is what we've been talking about for a long time. I'm sorry, Trustee Coe was not here to see it, but he can have it relayed from Mr. Robinson. This is what we've all been talking about. There are some homes that feed into White Oak Ponds that are not currently a part of the SSA. This is part of the process in which we have to complete to extend SSA number 10 to ensure that all of the homes that feed into White Oak Ponds pay for their quote unquote fair share of the use of services. So this would be setting the hearing date for July 17, 2025. Does anyone have any questions?
Just because I read these very carefully, that's why I have questions. So in the agenda supplement at the very bottom, then on page 69, it says there'll be 69 lots and the 3 lots east of Warner Street between Highland and Hillcrest. But that doesn't match on either of the maps.
Oh man, that's got to be Tim Polson's fault. No,
So, because you see that, I mean, if we're gonna do that, it should be at least 3 more houses that are on this map. And then the same thing here, it doesn't show that.
I think I worded it. What makes sense in my head, meaning 69 lots total, including the 3. So not 69 plus 3, but 69 including the 3.
I think you could read it inclusive of the 3
But
lots.
there's 69 here. It doesn't include the other ones because there's 60, it's numbered very nicely. It goes all the way to 69 on page 78. But then it doesn't include those other 3. They're
no,
not even
he's saying
numbered.
69. He's saying, there
are 69 lots.
yeah, but are these the
Plus.
are you talking, no, he's 69 lots total, including the ones.
Yes.
No, but that's not how it reads. It's 69 lots. These are the 69, but then it specifically states 3 additional lots across that
So-
are on the east side of Warner. So I'm just trying to make sure that it's correct if we're gonna have a hearing on this.
Yeah, so 69 lots, and then it describes generally located on the north and south sides of Highland
Yeah.
and Hillcrest Avenue, and then the 3 lots
I
on the
get what
east
he's
side.
saying. So if you look at the map, lots number 4, 3, and 2, the addresses are on Warner, when all of the other lots have addresses on Highland and Hillcrest. So that he just worded it in a way that made sense to him, and the fact that that there's 69 lots total generally in the other areas, but there are 3 with separate addresses. So,
3 and 4.
yeah, so
And not on that one.
Trustee, if you look at it this way, throw a comma after the word lots and then reread it. 69 lots generally located on blah, 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 and the 3. I think it's inclusive of, I think it's 66 plus the 3 that are referenced on.
I think it's just calling out the fact that there are 3 addresses that are on Warner. I think that was the intent. Is that fair?
And the 3 lots. Okay. I just want to make sure it was correct for the hearing.
I do have one question. Speaking of the map, there's the SSA 3 and then the proposal of the expansion to SSA 10. It looks like from this map that SSA 3 also ties in to the outflows that go into the ponds covered by SSA 10, but they're a separate SSA. Am I reading that correctly, that
No.
they are tied in?
So if you look on Panama, there's that blue, then it turns to green, and then it comes over in the corner there, it's blue.
Yeah.
And then that outflows over towards Centennial, looks like.
Well, no, it flows over to Centennial and then out into the ponds.
I will turn to Mr. Paulson. He has a better understanding of how.
So, if I get my camera to work. Yeah,
We know what you look like. Just help us with the question.
the area in the one on Panama, that SSA, there are detention basins at the, I guess it's the east end of Panama that SSA is
Smith,
for.
right?
Right.
Right, that's what SSA 3 covers. My question, Mr.
Yes.
Paulson, is if you look at the map where it cuts diagonal southeast over to Centennial, the infrastructure on Panama ties into Centennial, and at that junction goes off into the ponds that SSA 10 covers. Am I correct in seeing that?
Yes. And that was added as part of the Highland Avenue improvements. As you recall, we were addressing a few years ago a flooding issue on Highland Avenue, and Highland Avenue, Panama area was going into the Centennial storm sewer, And we added that as just, you know, a relief valve to try to create more capacity for the sewer on Highland, you know, try to get that whole system to reduce the flooding that was happening on Highland. So that is something that the village has added recently.
So the intent there is so that it would outflow Highland Avenue into SSA 3, not SSA 3 into SSA 10.
It was to improve the drainage on Highland. Highland Avenue already went into the White Oak Ponds Basin, but there were capacity issues. Part of the capacity issue was that Panama goes into that same storm sewer, so we added that storm sewer that goes into White Oak Ponds from where the Panama storm sewer hits Centennial, and that that was added. That was added to the benefit of the Highland Avenue, not to the benefit of. It doesn't improve the situation for Panama. What it does is take some of what was going from Panama in a large event to give a relief for it, so that there's more capacity in that Highland.
So the question is, does SSA 3 benefit from SSA 10?
That's a good question. I mean, it is now an alternate, in large events, it does discharge into White Oak Ponds, correct?
But only as a backup, correct?
Yes, it is like I said, it's kind of a relief. So when the system is surcharged on Centennial, instead of backing up and causing that flooding problem on Highland, it'll go into White Oak Ponds. And then, eventually it leaves White Oak Ponds and goes back into Centennial, but it alleviates that situation in certain events. High intensity, half hour, 2 inches in half hour, those kind of events, it relieves the flooding problem on Highland.
Did that answer your question, sir?
That's a much better way. I thought I asked them about that.
Does anybody have any other questions?
I just have one request before this goes to the July public hearing. It might be helpful if the street names were correct. It's Highland Centennial are both misspelled, and Jake is not Jake Street but Lane. Not to be pedantic, but
No, I get it. We'll make sure that the maps are correct with names that are appropriately listed as representative of our community. Mo, can you help us out with that?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's from a background file from the county GIS system. So we'll override it and get the correct names in there.
thank you.
That's great. Does anybody have any other questions, or can we set this date? I'll entertain a motion setting the date for the public hearing for SSA number 10 expansion to July 17th, 2025. Be here or be square. Moved.
Second. I'm sitting in Toby's.
All in favor? Oh, wait, you have to roll call. It's a zoning thing. I'm sorry. Roll call, please.
Mr. Robinson,
Aye.
Ms. Fodor,
Aye.
Mr. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Matt,
Aye.
Ms. Palastrellini.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Every year we talk about my favorite subject, which is trash. The trash rates are going up every year. It's just we negotiated into our contract. There's a senior benefit. It's going up to $14.04 from $13.76 for seniors. For non-seniors, it's going from $21.17 to $21.59. It's a thing we do every year. It was negotiated as part of our Flood Brothers contract. We've been talking, our garbage rates go up every year, much like the water rates do. Do we have any questions?
I heard an interesting fact which leads to a question. I heard that seniors receive a smaller can. Is that true?
They
receive
can.
a senior rate.
I don't know that that's 100% enforced.
So
I think that they can.
They receive the regulation recycling and garbage cans.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You can request a smaller can.
I know you can request
Only
it.
for-
I didn't know if that's what you were given if you are receiving.
No, you can request a smaller can if you are a senior citizen. You cannot request a larger recycling bin. much to the dismay of so many people, or a few people that complained, because apparently with waste management years ago, they couldn't, they haven't let go of it, because I still hear about it. So, does anybody have any other questions?
I don't have a question. I just have a comment to remind everyone. And I know most of us were on the board when we went through this process. I don't want to talk about specific companies or anything else like that, but I will say, Ms. Lyons, about how many homes are in the village? 3,000?
Over that, yes.
Over 3,000. Often we talk about sales tax increase, or we just talked about a grocery tax increase, and we're talking about things like that. But we do a lot of things where we try to save residents money as well. And even 5 years later into this contract, we're still much less than where we could have been with the other trash, whether senior or standard resident. In fact, residents in aggregate are probably saving, if we have well over 3,000, are saving over $15,000 every period.
With flood brothers. Yes.
Yes.
To add to that, we are much less now than we would have been 5 years ago.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. That's what I mean.
Yes,
The 5 year
yes.
ago price.
Yes.
And it's not to say anything about
No,
any
that's just
specific
what it is.
bids. It's just to say that, I do think there are a lot of things this village does. And this is just an example where we raise it every year because it gets raised every year per our contract. This is Flood Brothers contract. This isn't the village saying we want to raise it. It's just, we have to raise it since it's in our contract. But it is still a significant savings. So while it seems like we're raising your rates, we're actually still saving a bunch of money. So.
And we have a lot of value-added services that a lot of communities don't have with the hazardous material and the electronics recycling and all that kind of stuff. So share with your neighbors that stuff's all included, and to reach out to Flood Brothers to find out when, where, how, and if, and that kind of stuff, because odds are they take it. And not a lot of other communities don't have that. So.
And if we could point out, it's an increase of 50 cents a month for seniors and 65 cents for non-seniors. This isn't a $20 increase. It's less than $1.
Right.
So
5 years ago, at Waste Management rates, the bi-monthly billing for regular garbage was $46.28. And this year it'll be $45.68.
So it's 2 months.
Yeah.
Yes, 5 years.
For garbage.
Thank you.
And it's not disparaging any company versus the other.
No.
Well,
while we talk about rate increases, sometimes I think it's important to say this is that you're actually still less than you were 5 years
And
ago.
you guys were able to save, like you said, the residents a lot of money.
And this isn't meant to disparage any company, but our relationship, we were with Waste Management for a very, very long time. And I remember that it was a very difficult conversation to have with a lot of residents, because they thought Waste Management was great, and, we didn't have any beef with them. But Flood Brothers has been a great group to work with. They're always participating in community events. They come out with their fire truck. Anytime that we need anything, if there's a disaster or something like that, or an emergency, we call them and they're here.
Mm-hmm.
So they've been really great partners for us. So to your point about not disparaging another company, I agree with that, but this is one of those opportunities we could pump up Flood Brothers, because they've been really.
They offered us very similar services at way lower prices, and Waste Management was not willing to come down on price. So it was an obvious choice for him.
He was pretty angry. He walked out that night, if you remember, the Waste Management guy.
Well,
so anyway, I'll entertain a motion approving or adopting the garbage collection fees.
so
Questions, comments? Roll call, vote, please.
Aye. Mr. Kelly.
Aye.
Aye.
Ms. Palastrellini.
Hi.
Mr. Robinson.
Aye.
Motion is 5-0.
Now feast your eyes on the staff reports. We have a building report, we have an engineering report, and lastly, we have a financial report. We have everybody here waiting on bated breath to talk to you about any single one of them. Mr. Paulson could turn his camera on if he really wants. There he is, look at that.
Here I am.
So if you guys have any questions about any of the reports, please ask them to the appropriate staff member.
I only have one. Mr. Paulson, you're the lucky winner. Resubmitting preliminary design report for IDOT for Safe Routes to School. Why are we resubmitting it? Did it get denied, or was it not approved? The first bullet on your report.
Yeah, we resubmitted it, yes. Because
Well,
they had comments, yes.
Okay.
So they always have comments. We addressed the comments and turned it back in. And
Gotcha.
we're waiting
Okay.
for hopefully approval this time.
We're still on target for the bid letting, correct?
Yes, we are.
Okay,
Right here.
And I have an update on the well 12 equipment removal inspection if anyone is interested. Although
We are very interested.
without trustee Cove.
But trustee Cove isn't here, so maybe you could just email it to Jay so that he can send it out to all the board? Unless you
If
guys really.
The quick answer, everything is in good reusable condition with maintenance. And we have a preliminary estimate for the rehabilitation of 135,000 versus if it were new, it would be 485,000. So it turned out about as good as it could have.
Yeah, it's not bad for a pump that was left in the ground for 20 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you, sir. Any other questions about the reports at all? Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. Now we have the accounts payable to personnel. What did I do with my paperwork? I had it here a minute ago and I wrote notes on it. Here it is. Okay, in the amount of $5,407.63 to be paid on or before May 1st, 2025. Does anyone have any questions? I have a feeling there are going to be some.
Why is it so high? It's usually in the $100 range.
Because we had trouble with Amazon and a credit card limit, and our fantastic village manager got frustrated and said, "I'm just going to put it on my credit card." So we're paying him because he shouldn't have had to do that, and we're addressing why we had some problems with the credit card and Amazon. Right? Long story short, 30,000 pretty put over yet. Good enough. Nobody gets in trouble. So that's why. So we should be able to buy stuff, and we couldn't buy stuff and Jake bought stuff anyway.
So we're getting iPad?
Yes, yes. So this right here is an iPad. We're actually going to start rolling these out to the board. Your days of getting your package printed are numbered, full disclosure. We have a new piece of software that's going to make our staff more efficient and give you guys what you want, which is more time to view the packet, make your comments and take your notes and that kind of thing on the tablet. It's become a challenge for staff to provide technical support to some board members and commissioners alike. So you're going to get a fully configured iPad, and then you won't have to bring your cell phones and set them on the tables for board meetings and that kind of stuff, and use your own personal devices and be subject to FOIA and that kind of thing. So what's going to happen is right now, when we started this, packets were released on Tuesday before the meeting, and you have less than 48 hours. And then we pushed really hard to get staff to release the packet on Friday so we could review them. But with this piece of software that we've invested in, the packet will be put together and there will be a draft copy available to you earlier. And the packet will then be finalized with the 48-hour window. So when things change, like amounts, like I'm going to ask you on the next thing, or we have something that we're waiting on that we really could vote on, but we finalized the packet early enough so that the board could review it and we weren't changing the packet. We're going to give the staff back more time, and we're going to give you guys connectivity to be able to have things like, the presentations on your iPad, and we're going to give you things like documentation and maps that you can blow up and read and that kind of stuff. So we're getting, and then because these are all devices that the village owns, maintains, and that kind of stuff, and your email will be on it, there's not going to be a struggle with you guys being able to get into an email, be able to attend a meeting remotely if needed, that kind of thing. So welcome to the 20th century.
21st.
No, the 20th. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. But this is something that I've been wanting to get done since 2013, but the technology or the systems and staff were not in place to make it happen. But now there's technology systems available for the packet like it's really neat on the staff side. It's really going to create some efficiencies on the staff side that we don't have, which is neat. And then for us, it's going to be even better because you can take your notes. You're going to have a pencil. You could take your notes if you want. And then even on the draft copy, you're not going to get a new packet. You're going to get a new version. All of your notes are going to stay there. And then your historical information and other packets and things, you'll be able to search and things that we've talked about. And so you'll be able to do your own research and that kind of stuff on this device during the meeting and not have to go I remember we talked about this. Can somebody look it up? Because then you'll be able to have all of that right in front of you. So
Trustee Coe is gonna love this.
he's gonna love it. Because we did it specifically. Well, he's been asking, honest to God, he's been asking for a device for a long time. He has been
serious.
He's been asking for a device for a very, very long time, but the argument was that the method in which we compiled the pack, well, when I started here, it was all paper. And I threw a wrench in it because I wanted an electronic copy. So they used to print it off, put it on the scanner and then send it to me. And now it's changed even more. And then now with this efficiencies, even with our multiple operations across multiple buildings, they're good, like department heads and staff members are going to be able to submit information for individual meetings. It's going to be really great for the staff side and we get to benefit from it. So that's where that comes from. More to come on that sooner rather than later.
So I'll make a motion to approve reimbursements to staff in the amount of $5,407.63.
Second.
Questions, comments? Thank you, Mr. Hedges. Ms. Clerk, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Kelly.
Aye.
Mr. Matt.
Aye.
Mrs. Palastrellini.
Hi.
Mr. Robinson.
Aye.
Mrs. Fodor.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
So in spite of in relation to the conversation we just had, this number that it was presented to you in the regular accounts payable to $137,134.70 is wrong. We were, remember that truck that we ordered like 2 or 3 years ago for the snowplow, right? Well, guess what? It's finally here. And even though we waited for it for 3 years or 2 years or however long we waited it for, they want their money now, so we can send it to the outfitter. So we have, this Lions approached me right before the meeting and said, how do you want to handle this? And so I told her that I would like to change the amount for $122,747 to, that's the amount that we need to write the check for to where we purchased.
Trans Chicago.
Trans Chicago. And then our amount would change to $259,881.70. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be asking you for to approve tonight. So this way we can send the check out this week.
Can you repeat the final amount?
$259,881.70.
Thank you.
That's the final amount. That number is not going to appear in the accounts payable, but you can ask any other question.
None.
We're all looking at you. Trustee Mott? He goes, wow.
But I went, wow. Always wait for the.
I read, I worry about the taxpayer.
Yeah, I always look for lower people.
All right, hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the accounts payable in the new amount of $259,881.70.
Motion. Second.
Questions, comments? Roll call vote.
Mr. Matt.
Aye.
Mrs. Palastrellini.
Aye.
Mr. Robinson.
Aye.
Mrs. Fodor.
Aye.
Mr. Kelly.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Next, we have village board committee reports, BDC.
BDC will meet next Wednesday here, 6:30 or not. Oh, no, that's right. Yesterday wasn't May, so in 2 weeks. A week from Wednesday. There you go. Because the first is on a Thursday. So it'll be another one where you have BDC the night before a village meeting.
PZC before BDC.
So that'll be that date, yes.
So
13th.
13th, right?
14.
14th. Okay.
Calendar.
So I want to do a presentation while this board's seated, if that's possible. It's not on the agenda.
You can discuss any meeting relevant to public business during a board meeting, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So before we adjourn Sindai, which is a fancy word for adjourn but not adjourn, I would like to thank Trustee Mott for being a part of this board, an invaluable part of this board. You have been a steady hand in a lot of the conversation, especially my favorite part of you being on this board is sometimes we get a little heated in our discussions because we're very passionate. And here's Lionel, always steady, no matter what. And he always has a way of saying, like when temperatures get hot, he always has to say, he always says the right thing. And all of us go, that's a good idea. And so, I'm really going to miss him. And I'm so thankful that you served with us. But I do want to present you on behalf of the village with an award recognizing your service. And so I felt that I would do that now while this board is still seated, because after we adjourn Sindai, this is done. So I would open it up to the board for any comments to Mr. Mott, and we'll take pictures and all that kind of stuff here in a minute. But I wanted to do it while you were still a trustee. Thank you.
I'd like to say that in 4 years, I have learned tremendous amount about what it takes to run village like Hampshire. Had no idea before that. And I thank the community for voting me in for the 4 years to allow me to do this. And so I have learned a tremendous amount, and it's been a privilege to work with all of you people, the village staff, the trustees here on the board, and all the people behind the scenes. Been very rewarding for me, and I appreciate the fact that I was allowed to do that. Thanks.
Okay, well, I'll put the cover on it, but we can take some pictures here shortly. Okay. Now how do we do this? Do I need a motion to adjourn Sindai?
You do.
All right, I need a motion to adjourn Sindai.
So moved.
Well, wait a second.
Mr. Mott.
Mr. Mott.
Mr. Mott makes a motion.
My fault. No, for me.
I wasn't looking at you.
Can you do me a favor, Ms. Clerk, and call the roll? Maybe call Mr. Mott first.
Please.
He motions.
Mr. Mott.
That's why, all right. Okay, Mr. Matt,
Aye.
Ms. Palestrini,
Aye.
Mr. Robinson,
Aye.
Mrs. Fodor,
Aye.
Mr. Kelly.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mott. Don't run away, but you could run out of the seat, but don't run away out of the board, because we're gonna take some pictures and stuff. All right, so next, this is my first time doing this, because 2 years ago, everybody won again, and we didn't have to do this, so. What we have to do is, after Mr. Mott, goes and sits with the rest of the public, I guess. Well, you can sit anywhere you want, really. You want my seat? Oh, fair enough, fair enough. Well, next, what we need to do is take a motion to open the meeting after we adjourn Sindai, and that we need to administer the oaths of office. So Ms. Charterbro happens to be in the office, or in the crowd here, so why don't you come around? And we're sorry, we ordered a nameplate, but it didn't come in yet. So, and so we're gonna do the oath of office, but what we need to do is open the meeting first. So, welcome, join us. Look at all the power she has now, right? All right, so what I need is I need a motion from a sitting board member and a second to come back into regular session.
So moved.
Second.
Let's say you're the only other current
Yes.
sitting board member here.
Oh, that's right. Okay,
They're fine. No, they can vote except Ms. Jarner votes for no.
okay. So do we need to do a roll call to come back into open?
Call a roll call.
Can we call Ms. Jarnbro or not?
We do not.
Okay, all right. Ms. Clerk, can you call roll, please?
Mr. Kelly,
Aye.
Ms. Palestrini,
Aye.
Mr. Robinson.
Aye.
Mrs. Fodor,
Aye.
motion passes 4-0.
Okay, now we do the fun part, which is the swearing in, or the swearing in, or whatever you want to call it.
Start with you.
Yeah, you have to, I think.
We're starting with you. You want to shoot the follow along?
Maybe, no, I'm kidding.
Okay. Right hand. I, Michael J. Reed Jr.,
I, Michael J. Reed Jr.,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois
and the laws and ordinances of the Village of Hampshire,
and the laws and ordinances of the Village of Hampshire,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of Village President
the office of the duties of the office of the president of the Village of Hampshire
To the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability. No, I'm not reading it. I did way better this time than I did last time. I stammered through it the last time. Okay, now do I need to sign anything? Or that's it?
You do need to sign something, yes.
What?
Yeah. Maggie's been silent this whole time. The last time he was yapping the whole time. I just want to thank everyone for supporting me the last 4 years and for working with me. I know I've had some crazy ideas and I know we've changed a lot and I know we've done a lot of work together. Some of it has probably been to your disdain. But I really appreciate all of your support. And I just want to say that these two right here, I couldn't do without. And there are times where we are planning to go places or family comes in and stuff happens, although it's limited, but she's my rock when it comes to this, and she doesn't really get that angry when stuff comes up. So, and he is so super understanding when David's got to go to a meeting, and it's just, I understand why most people that are in this business are a lot at different stages in their lives, because it's really hard when you can't be two places at once and you really want to be, and I couldn't do it without your support. So it's amazing. Okay, who's next? Next victim. Next victim is this voter. Because all your free, you have a chance to get more free time and now you can just come in and give it all back up and dedicate yourself just like. Did you want me to do it or do you want to do it? Who do you want to do it? Oh, boy.
Here's this if you'd like to follow along.
I state your name,
I, Heather Coder,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois
and the laws and ordinances of the Village of Hampshire,
and the laws and ordinances of the Village of Hampshire,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of Office of Trustee
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Village Trustee
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. You can have it. We have more.
Free pens.
Yes, we have free pens now. It's a new thing. Say it, who's next?
We have, Aaron Jarrett.
Sure, come around.
Yes, I'm coming. That means. You'd like to follow? I wouldn't help nerves.
Okay. You can raise your right hand if you want. You don't have to. I, Aaron E.D. Jarnabro,
I, Aaron E.D. Jarvis,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois
and the laws and ordinances of the Village of Hampshire,
and the laws and ordinances of the Village of Hampshire,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of Office of Trustee
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the Office of Trustee
according to my best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
All right, congratulations. I think we're going to sign it. One of the days I'll get it. And you can keep the pen.
Thank you.
You have to run in 2 years. You could get a.
You might not get a pen. Trustee Baltrini. You want to follow along or you can? Okay.
I'll be there.
Okay. Here, are we, okay. I, Laura Palestrini,
I, Laura Palestrini,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the laws and ordinances
the laws and ordinances
of the Village of Hampshire,
of the Village of Hampshire,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the Office of Trustees
the office
Of
of village trustee
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. Got for you.
Sorry.
Trying to get our paperwork straight here. All right, board. Let's assemble, and then we have some. Now we have to assemble at our table here and then call the roll. And then what we'll do is we'll do some staff appointments and oaths, and then we'll take pictures with families. So this part should be pretty quick. Just a principle you want like that? Sure. That's a nice catch.
I want to wait till you say something important. For each letter.
Okay. For the very first time, Ms. Clerk, can you call the roll?
Mrs. Fodor? Present. Mrs. Jernerbro?
Here.
Mr. Kelly?
Present.
Mr. Poe? Absent. Mrs. Palestrini?
Here.
And Mr. Robinson.
Present. Congratulations to you all. Welcome. All right, next we have to do appointments for you that are new. Just know that, so we have certain offices, the chief, the clerk, and the village attorney, whose appointments only last as long as the sitting village president. That's all the power that I have to appoint someone. So now that it is a new term, we have to reappoint certain key members of our staff. So the first motion that I would like to entertain is to appoint Vasily Law as village attorney / counsel. And so, does he come with pens?
He does.
Yeah, he has a coloring pen, but he doesn't have any Vasily Law pen.
I don't know.
So, does anyone have any questions or concerns about Mr. Vasily that you want to hear openly?
No concerns, but I would like to verify, we are only hiring Vasily Law as our village attorney. That's point four.
For this firm, right? Well, with the exception of a church, with the so that's why it's changed to council,
Right.
because he's going to be involved in all legal matters as far as the village is concerned.
His firm will be involved.
Correct. That is the intent. We are going to finish litigation with, finish any open litigation that we have that we have ongoing. But from this point moving forward, it will be the Vasily Law. Fair enough?
Yeah.
Any other questions? I will entertain a motion to appoint Vasily Law as village attorney / counsel.
So,
Second. Questions or comments? Roll call vote, please, Ms. Clerk.
Jernerbro? Aye. Mr. Kelly?
aye.
Mrs. Palestrini?
Aye.
Mr. Robinson?
Aye.
Mrs. Fodor? Aye. Motion passes 5-0.
I'd like the record to reflect that trustee Coe did not vote.
No.
Okay, next I will entertain a motion to appoint Douglas Pan as chief of police. Doug has been a wonderful addition to our staff in multiple avenues, in multiple roles, and he's fit in very well. He's done a great job, and I'd like him to continue. Does anyone have any questions about his appointment? I'll entertain a motion to appoint Doug Pan, our chief of police.
So moved. Second.
Questions, comments? Roll call vote, please.
I'm sorry, who's the first? Okay, thank you. I got it. Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Mrs. Palestrini?
Aye.
Mr. Robinson?
Aye.
Mrs. Fodor?
Aye.
And Mrs. Jernerbro?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Congratulations and welcome back. All right. And finally, tonight, I'd like to reappoint Karen Stuhler as our village clerk. She's done a fantastic job stepping into a very unique situation. Filling some pretty big shoes and trying to clean up a lot, and she's never missed a beat. And I could not do this job without her being here. I'm telling you, because this has been fantastic. In the fact that she's been a resource as far as, most of our staff is not from out of town, and she's like third generation or fourth generation Hampshireite. So she knows everybody. They walk in and they go, "Oh, hi, I didn't know you worked here." And so she's able to give everybody the 411. So it's been great. So does anyone have any questions about the appointment to Ms. Stuhler? I'll entertain a motion to appoint Ms. Stuhler as village.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Palastrellini.
Aye.
Mr. Robinson.
Aye.
Mrs. Fodor.
Aye.
Mr. Jarnbro.
Aye.
Mr. Kelly.
Aye.
Thank you.
Congratulations and welcome back. Now we get to administer the oath of office. I should say this. Normally, we would appoint village manager at this point. Jay's already announced his retirement. With the way that the law works, we don't technically have to reappoint somebody. We do anyway. His appointment stands because I was reelected, so his appointment stands. And so the way Jay is very comfortable serving at quote unquote the pleasure of the mayor until he retires. So unless anybody has an issue with that, Jay's just going to keep going the way things have been until his replacement is selected. Just to clear that up. And same with the village engineer. That's a services contract, and so we don't have to reappoint with that because we've already appointed the first time, but we felt like with staff members it was. Is there any other questions? Okay. I will, let's see. Mr. Vaselli, are you willing to be sworn in on behalf of Vaselli Law?
Mr. Vaselli, would you like to follow along?
I'll go along, yeah. Wait.
I state your name.
His name is Vaselli.
Do solemnly swear or affirm.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
And the Constitution of the State of Illinois.
The Constitution of the State of Illinois.
And the laws and ordinances of the Village of Hampshire.
And the laws and ordinances of the Village of Hampshire.
And that I will faithfully discharge the duties.
And that I will faithfully discharge the duties.
Of the office of Village Attorney.
Of the office of Village Attorney.
According to the best of my ability.
According to the best of my ability. Thank you very much.
You didn't even give me a chance to take the congratulations. Hold on, wait, you can't go anywhere. Oh.
Does he get that?
Knock it off my bill.
Here's your medicine.
Oh, the meeting statement. Okay, Chief, you're up.
Would you like to follow, a sheet to follow along that you provided for everything?
You want to shore yourself in with that? I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the State of Illinois.
That I will support the Constitution of the State of Illinois.
And the Constitution of the United States, did that backwards. So the Constitution of the Illinois and the laws and ordinances of the Village of Hampshire.
Wow.
Fan. Solemnly swear or affirm.
Do solemnly swear or affirm.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
And the Constitution of the State of Illinois.
And the Constitution of the State of Illinois.
And the laws and the ordinances of the Village of Hampshire.
And the laws and ordinances of the Village of Hampshire.
And that I will faithfully discharge the duties.
I will faithfully discharge the duties.
Of the office of Chief of Police.
The office of Chief of Police.
According to the best of my ability.
According to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. What you get for trying to beat me to it? He doesn't even want my pen. He wants to complete the oath by himself and he doesn't even want my pen. Okay. Last, but certainly not least, do you want to shoot the call along?
I do.
Are you ready?
Ready.
Okay. I
I, Karen Stewart,
solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois
and the laws and ordinances of the Village of Hampshire,
and the laws and ordinances of the Village of Hampshire,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Village Clerk
of the office of village clerk
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations and welcome back.
You can't roll on anything. Okay. Mr. Kern will be doing that.
Oh my goodness, he brings out his own stamp.
The power.
Look at that, this is like a pocket stamp. You just carry that around with you?
Nope.
Seriously?
Nope.
What do you trust you?
First down.
Okay. So next, thank you all for that. Sorry, it looked like a train wreck, but I got confused. All right, next we have committee appointments. You have this sheet. So, I'm going to entertain a motion to table committee appointments for now because I thought I had my sheet, but I don't. So we will present them at the next meeting. Dispense.
So moved here. I will make your motion, please.
Second.
Appointment.
Okay, all in favor?
I have a question.
Yes.
Just comments and questions.
No. Not you.
Who do you want at the BDC meeting?
No, your appoint, just keep doing what you're doing.
Oh, you stay with your current appointments?
Yeah, I'm just, we're looking at, I want to see, I think you're just gonna go where Lionel was, but I want to make sure, and so we may change up. So
Okay.
what I will ask of the board, if you are in a role now and do not wish to continue in that role, you know. If you are not in a role and you wish to be in a role, let me know. And then we'll present it for the next meeting.
Okay, I wasn't trying to be rude. That meeting happens before the next village.
Keep doing what you're doing.
So, okay.
And
Review the roles.
absolutely. You want me to send them out? Quick send them out would be great.
That'd be great.
There's only 3, right?
Yeah, but PDC and
Right.
communication and all that kind of stuff. So
Like BDC,
Finance.
budget,
finance.
PR.
Yeah, and then,
recognition.
yeah, so, and if there's like I said, you'll get the current assignments, you will too. And if there's something that piques your interest or something, let me know and we can make some changes. Up to you guys.
I'll get on my iPad.
Yeah, sure. We'll get on that. Okay, so we did all in favor, right? Okay, good. Next, do we have any new business or other announcements?
Yes.
Uh-oh. Yes.
No, it's all good.
No, we're good now. We can say it.
It's announcements. Pending, nobody's watching that. All right, everybody in this room has to be sworn to secrecy, though, even though we're in open session. Tomorrow, for the village board's knowledge, we are going to go to Hampshire Elementary and we're going to, those 2 guys too. Don't say a word, kids.
Yeah, you better not say a word.
It is a big surprise, but we are going to have an all-school assembly first thing in the morning. Mrs. Nolan has coordinated all of the details. We're gonna go present, we're gonna bring Mrs. Bannerman in last and present her with her proclamation for Mrs. Bannerman Day. So
And the board, if possible, should all be there.
if possible and you'd like to join, we would love to have you. I know President Reed and myself will be there.
Like 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock
In the front office, meet
in
there.
the front office.
Okay, I'll be there. I'll meet you guys there.
Yeah.
Yes.
We just got details that this was all gonna happen, and so that's why we figured we'd announce it tonight.
Yes.
So,
And it'll be short and sweet, but, and as you can tell from this, she does not want the recognition on her, but we feel this is very much deserved. Tomorrow night is actually the ceremony for Educator of the Year for King County. And we all have our fingers crossed, hoping that she wins because she deserves it. She, of all the people, and as an educator myself, and as I'm sure you can attest to, this woman is the definition of a teacher. She deserves this award. So we're gonna try to make tomorrow a very special day. So please, if you can come, 8 o'clock at HES.
All right. Any other new announcements? Do you have anything you'd like to add, Ms. Sharma?
No, I'm excited to be here.
Make sure we put that in a minute.
Yeah.
No executive session tonight. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you, everyone. Now we'll take some pictures. Miss Jeannie Mayer is here to take